Hello and welcome to my channel, Boo Snakes and More. Today we're going to be talking about a family that ended up being deported to Mexico while trying to take their 10-year-old son to the hospital. So please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And for more videos like this, watch my other house channel, A&A Snakes and Stuff. My youngest son's channel, Henny's Toys and Games, or my oldest son's channel, Little Chris 10. Now let's dive in. When 10-year-old Sarah Hernandez Garcia woke up feeling dizzy and in aching pain, her parents feared the worst. They bundled her and their four other children into the car and raced from their home in the Rio Grande Valley to the Texas Children's Hospital in Houston. It had been a year since the child's emergency surgery for a brain tumor, but she still required constant care to prevent seizures. That morning, her parents, Maria and Julian, prayed Sarah would get the medical attention she needed. But while passing through the Santa checkpoint on February 3rd, en route to the hospital, a new nightmare for the family began. Maria and Juan were detained, accompanied by their four young children, and taken to a U.S. Customs and Border Patrol facility, held for 24 hours before being piled into a van and deported to Mexico. Maria and Juan are also now separated from their eldest child, 17-year-old Fernando, a U.S. citizen who remained in America. The family's desperate efforts to find medical care has broken up their home, landed them in the middle of a political battle, and has them living in fear. That morning, waking up and thinking they needed to get their child to the emergency room, and then suddenly on the way to getting her to medical care, they got picked up and just sent out of the country. It's absurd. The family's immigration attorney, Daniel Woodward, told The Independent, "They are really struggling right now," he added. Maria and Juan have 6 children, ages 6, 8, 10, 13, 15, and 5. 15 and 17, 5 are U.S. citizens who have never known any other home than America. The undocumented couple has lived in the U.S. since 2013 and has no criminal record. None of that mattered as the parents were quickly deported when they entered the system. Now they are fighting to be allowed to return to America so they can get their daughter care. As a family, their plight is detailed in a complaint filed by the Texas Civil Rights Project with the Department of Homeland Security's Office of Civil Rights and Civil Liberties. The family alleged customs officers confiscated some of Sarah's medication, and the children were kept in deplorable conditions for 24 hours during the deportation process, according to the filing obtained by The Independent. They also alleged BP denied urgent medical care to a vulnerable and disabled U.S. citizen child. Hilton Beckham, Customs and Border Protection's Assistant Commissioner of Public Affairs, said the allegations were false and irresponsible. CPB abides by strict legal and humanitarian standards with processing facilities, including those in the Rio Grande Valley sector, under continuous internal and external monitoring to ensure proper medical care, nutrition, welfare checks, and human conditions. Beckham said in a statement to The Independent, "The health and well-being of those in custody remain a top priority, with access to necessary medical attention always ensured." Maria and Juan, who do not have legal status, moved to America in 2013 in search of a better life. They worked hard and are valued members of their community, the complainant stated. They are dedicated members of their local church, it read. Maria and Juan have no criminal records and spent decades working to build a better life for their children. The children thrive in school, especially in music and art. The eldest, Fernando, dreams of joining the U.S. military after he graduates from high school. In addition to Sarah's complex medical needs, her 15-year-old brother Manuel and 13-year-old sister Elizabeth were born with a rare heart rhythm disorder called long QT syndrome. They require regular medical observation, and Manuel wears a heart monitor. Sarah's health rapidly deteriorated in 2023 when she began to display symptoms. Her left foot started to turn at an odd angle. She had stomach pain, according to the complaint. She was doing worse in school. She started pulling her hair and complained of headaches. Doctors diagnosed her with autism, but Maria and Juan worried that they were missing something. Their fears came true when Sarah suffered a seizure in February 2024 and was rushed to hospital. Their doctors discovered a tumor in her brain, and she was airlifted to Texas Children's Hospital in Houston. Sarah nearly died at one point, and Maria thought she was holding her daughter's lifeless body in her arms, the complainant says. Surgeons performed an emergency procedure to remove the tumor, and fortunately, Sarah survived. They told the parents it was a miracle. In the year that followed, the surgery caused struggles for Sarah and her family. The right side of her body is partially paralyzed. She wears a leg brace and often forgets words. Every day, the child must take medication to prevent seizures, and her parents carry an emergency nasal spray in case she has one. Maria stopped working to care for her daughter, which hit the family financially. When Sarah complained of a painful headache last month, Maria and Juan didn't hesitate to get her to the specialist overseeing her care, but they never made it. Instead, the family was stopped at Customs and Border Patrol Sarita checkpoint. They presented documentation regarding Sarah's medical condition, as they had done several times before when passing through, to get to the hospital in Houston. This time was different. The Trump administration's directive for a large-scale mass deportation was in place. Maria and Juan explained their situation to the officers and showed them the children's birth certificates to prove they were U.S. citizens. They also handed officials a letter that explained Sarah is a patient at the hospital undergoing treatment for a brain tumor, and that because of the grave nature and complexity of her disease, she must be able to get to the hospital. Rather than let Sarah proceed, the Texas Children's CPB officers detained the entire family. The complaint says Customs and Border Protection denies the allegation. An officer then called staff at Texas Children's Hospital and received confirmation that Sarah was a patient, according to the complaint. At this point, officers neither allowed the family to proceed to Texas Children's nor brought her to a local facility to address her potential medical. The complainant says officials took no action at all to ensure Sarah got the care she needed. Instead, they confiscated her medication. After 6 hours at the checkpoint, the family was transferred to a nearby detention facility where they alleged they suffered a series of abuses and humiliation from customs officers. After 24 hours, the whole family was put in a van and dropped off in Mexico. These children have grown up in the U.S. They've gone to U.S. schools and were doing well, Woodward told the Independent. And their mom said to me at one point that the children always wanted to know Mexico and see where they and where their parents are from, but not like this. Now the family is living in rural Mexico, staying with relatives, and laying low out of fear the children could be kidnapped by gangs once they learn they are U.S. citizens. They are also fighting to try and get back to the U.S. As a result, Maria and Juan are keeping the children at their relatives' property. They cannot go to school or the doctor. They have not left the property in nearly a month, the complaint says. Sarah urgently needs access to more medication and to see the doctors who are overseeing her care. All the while, their 17-year-old son Fernando remains in the U.S., separated from his family. She is due for an MRI in the U.S. right now, Woodrow said. And then she's also struggling with the medication, he added, and explained that the family's logistics and loss of income now make that near impossible. Woodrow said it is possible that Customs and Border Patrol made a mistake with the case and didn't know what they were doing at the time. But if it was not a mistake, he added, the case was indicative of an administration with a complete lack of humanity. If this wasn't a mistake, I think it speaks to a complete lack of humanity and recognition that families deserve to belong together, Woodrow said that U.S. citizen children deserve to get health care in the U.S. Thank you for watching this video and peace out till the next one.